Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Do us a favor, smash that subscribe button. It's really helping the channel grow, really helps get the word out. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check us out on TikTok, Reddit, and Discord as well. And leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
We've got CFL Talk, no Bomber Talk, Winnipeg Jets Talk. So brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Let's start off with some no Bomber CFL Talk.
Well,
it's kind of weird.
We can. Patty Neufeld back re-signed with the Bombers, right?
That's right. That's right. You texted me Neufeld re-signed, and I was like, Ray Neufeld?
Ray Neufeld is coming back.
I was like, great. Why not? Rick Bowness bringing back his boy from 85.
Exactly.
89? Oh, my
Somewhere
goodness.
in those 80s.
This is year number 11
for Pat 35 Neufeld? Years old, right? I think.
Damn, right away. So, native Saskatchewaner. Saskatchewanite? Saskatchewan? I don't know. Let's talk about free agency. It's all we've been talking about so far, other than the schedule. Did you notice online? We released a question about the old Bomber logo with the football lightning bolt. And man, there were a lot of people, they got their PTSD, whatever it's called, triggered about bad times. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. But for me, yes, they didn't win a cup. But there are too many good times for me to say that I never want to see that logo again. Like names like Kahari Jones, Milt Stiegel, Doug Brown, Terrence Edwards, Charles Roberts, John Bolden, Katie Williams, they're attached to that logo. So I wouldn't be hurt seeing it come back.
Yeah, a lot of good times, but a lot of bad times as well with that logo. And I get it. A lot of people weren't a huge fan of the lightning bolt and all that kind of stuff for that logo, right? Yeah. Everyone likes the simplicity of the W right now. And I can't argue with them because I like that way better than that logo too. But yeah, good and bad with that logo. No Grey Cup championships or anything like that, but some really good teams, obviously. So
it's an alternate. It's not a full change. My goodness, people lost their minds. Oh, but some people grew up on that logo and they know nothing but losing or not winning the Grey Cup because they made the Grey Cup 3 times on that logo or 2 times with that logo.
2 times, 07, 11. Is that sorry, 01?
Yep, and 07. Yeah, 11 was a W with Buck Pierce.
Right. And we were just talking about 11. 11. Pittsburgh Steelers lost the Super Bowl. Bombers lost the Grey Cup.
Yeah, we just talked about it. It's still 0-11. You're right.
0-11, yeah.
If you're going to be a GM for each team in the CFL, what free agent are you targeting on the free agent market? Who's going to be your number one priority? Let's go from west to east. Let's start in BC. I'm going to go for BC, Darius Sirocco from Toronto, the center there. They need a leader in the middle. They need a road grader in the middle because they had no running game. They couldn't finish games and they can have long drives. So I'm going to take that veteran center for BC.
Yeah, I have BC looking at an O-line as well. And Darius, obviously, he's the best O-lineman out there. Revenberg has already signed back in Hamilton. So yeah, he'd be a good one. To piggyback off that, why not a running back then? Dietrich Mills, Kadeem Carey, AJ Ouellette, who's still a free agent right now, if he makes it to February. Those are some good options for BC because they obviously have the receivers. I know a few of them are free agents as well, but they had that part. They just couldn't run the ball very well. So, yeah, if you can get that center, maybe you throw in one of these running backs and you're kind of set on offense.
Yeah, not a fan of Mazzell, eh?
Yeah, he didn't do enough, and I get it. I mean, they didn't run the ball very well together, blocking or anything. So, if you could bring one of these guys in, though, a veteran guy like that.
That's true.
So,
William Stanback?
Yeah, that's another good option as well.
Who do you got for the Edmonton Elks?
I actually had Darius Sirocco could go to every one of these teams almost. Yeah. So I kind of have him there too, but I'm also looking at maybe a wide receiver for Edmonton. I know they had Eugene Lewis, but maybe get another weapon for Trey Ford. You got Justin Hardy, Hollins, Keon Hatcher, Shane Bain, even Tim White, Dalton Schoen. Any of those guys would be a good option for Edmonton.
Oof, Dalton Schoen.
Yeah, I don't like that last one, but
I'm gonna go. Well, they have Trey Ford on a rookie contract, so I'm gonna go Dane Evans. Bring in a veteran quarterback just in case he does not take that next step because they can't afford to be total failures again next year. And I'm not buying into Cornelius at all. So I think they need to bring in some veteran quarterbacking that could. It looks like Evans had a good year off in BC. When he came in, he played competently, and maybe it's time to be for him time for him to be a starter again if he would get the opportunity. So I'll say Dane Evans in Edmonton.
All right,
Maybe.
hold up. I'm just going to do a quick unplug and plug of my camera right now, but I'll continue talking here.
5, 4. Oh, sorry. You go 3.
Dane Evans to me would actually be. He may be. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
He may be an option for other teams though, like who may need a starter. Dane Evans. I think he'll look there first before he takes a backup role.
Like Ottawa, maybe.
There's a possibility. Yeah, I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself, but
is that the only one? Hamilton, maybe.
Well, he's not going back to Hamilton, right?
Who knows? We've seen quarterbacks go, this is CFL.
Yeah, it's true.
Calgary Stampeders. I got Bryce Carter. I think they need to add some extra pressure on opposing QBs. Mike Rose is great. He's a force in the middle. And they have Julian Hauser, and he's steady. But I think they need some other pressure on the end. They're kind of middle of the pack in sacks, and they're so close to being a good team. Like if you look at their roster, it's a really good roster. They just couldn't get it going early in the season or late in the season. So I think if they get someone like Bryce Carter, a good edge rusher, that'll help them a lot.
Yeah, they were up and down on D. Like they had some good games against the Bombers on D, and then some bad games as well. I'd go maybe O-line as well there, and maybe Darius Sirocco there again. You got to determine first if Jake Mayer is your guy for them. If he's your guy, then build around him. They had decent receivers with Begelton. I mean, obviously Begelton's very good receivers. After that, it wasn't great. What was it? Malik Henry off and on last season had some good games and all that stuff. So maybe you look at one of those batch of wide receivers as well that we just mentioned a couple minutes ago as well.
They also have Hakanuva, the Canadian.
He's right. I keep forgetting about that guy. Yeah. So I might agree with you then on the D line. Bryce Carter. Yeah.
He's really good.
I had him going somewhere else, but yeah.
Oh, who do you got him going to? Who do you got for Saskatchewan?
That's what I'm going to go with Saskatchewan. Somewhere on the D line. Bryce Carter was one of them. Either even AC Leonard, or you make a splash if BC can't get him, and you go for Matthew Betts to really solidify that D line. So for me, it's for Saskatchewan. You're looking somewhere on that D line. They obviously need O line as well to be a little bit better than it was last year. It was better last year than the Fajardo year, but
yeah,
D line for me there.
Saskatchewan was last in sacks last year.
Yeah.
I'm also saying go all in for Betts because he's a ratio breaker.
Yeah.
And it just opens up everything else on who you can sign. Money-wise, it might not, but I think Betts would be great for Saskatchewan.
It'll be interesting to see what happens there. BC can get it done before February with Betts. I kind of want him to go to free agency just to see what kind of contract he could end up getting or whatever, or how many teams go after him kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Oh my goodness. Toronto Argos. I'm gonna say they should target my favorite running back in the free agent market, other than Brady Oliveira. Jeshurun Antwi. They need to replace Andrew Harris. I don't know if it's never wise to overpay for an American running back, and that's a decision they have to make with Ouellette. You know, how much are they willing to pay for him to stay? And if they can find a Canadian at either the same money value or better, definitely you go for the Canadian. And he's a better all-round back too as a receiver. So I think go for him.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Especially, you got Harris and Ouellette, both free agents, right? I mean, Harris obviously is retiring, Ouellette, free agent. I like the receivers, but Curly Gittins was hurt. What's his name? Coxie is a free agent, depending what happens there. If any team is going to go after it and pay him good money, I feel like they would be the ones for Dalton Schoen, trying to take Schoen out of Winnipeg. And I think him with Chad Kelly, we seen how Dalton Schoen was good when Claros was on the run. I think him and Chad Kelly would actually be pretty good together. So I could see them maybe making a splash that way.
Well, that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't want them to, but yeah.
They don't have many holes in their roster. Like, it was hard.
They have a decent amount of free agents, and if they can sign most of those guys back, they won't have a lot of holes at all.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Hamilton Tiger Cats. Who do you got?
It depends what happens with Tim White. Tim White's a free agent. If he goes, who do they have as wide receiver right there? So again, going back to it, maybe wide receiver. You go after one of these guys. There's tons of freaking good wide receivers out there that any team could really go after him, right? Javon Couture is another one I don't think I mentioned. So
no doubt.
Obviously, they need a quarterback as well. So depending on what the situation is there, they decide is it going to be Bo Levi, Powell, or Schultz, or who somebody else. But yeah, you need to give this guy someone to throw to. So
Drew
someone.
Brown. You go for Drew Brown. You have the QB whisperer. You have the offensive guru with Scott Milanovic. Like I mentioned before, like you sign Drew Brown and let Bill Boyd Levi go. You have a little extra money to either get 1 or 2 prime offensive weapons to surround him. So yeah, I think they should be going all in for Drew Brown.
Maybe they go for McLeod Bethel Thompson, more of a veteran guy. They kind of know what he can do. Hamilton's got to win now, right? They've been so close, or had supposed to be so close over the last few years and not gotten it done. Their Grey Cup drought is hitting what? It's over 20 years now.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the roster though. Moving, they have to start fresh. I think Drew Brown's a fresh quarterback that you build around. I don't know if they're going to win. They tried to go all in to win the cup in Hamilton again, and they failed horribly. Levi match. Yeah,
backfired.
They got to hit the reset if they're expecting to win the Grey Cup next year. I get it. CFL, you can turn something around in the offseason, but I don't know. We'll see. Ottawa Redblacks, who you got?
That's where I'm going with Drew Brown. They obviously need a quarterback. They have some good wide receivers, not the greatest. I mean, they could go that way too. But Drew Brown, and it, like you say, if somehow Drew Brown ends up in Hamilton, then you got Dane Evans as another option in Ottawa. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to take a backup role just yet.
Yeah,
maybe bring in both those guys, Dane Evans, Drew Brown, and have them compete and see what happens at that position instead of tying yourself to one guy who doesn't end up being it. So Drew Brown's a question mark, right? Yes, he played well in Winnipeg, but he knew the system and he had a very good wide receivers all around him. Now, and a good O-line. Now you're going to go to a team that doesn't have those pieces. Can he still be as good, right? So
I hope for his sake he doesn't go there. It wouldn't be good at all. And now for his sake, also the person I picked, I don't hope they don't go there because they're a bomber. I'm finishing hard on bombers here, but I'm gonna go Nick Dembski. He's big play, versatile offensive weapon with a Canadian passport. Obviously I wouldn't want him to leave.
Dembski's still signed though.
Oh, that's right.
He signed a 2-year deal.
That's
right.
So he did. Good. So can I change it to Sean then?
No, you can't.
I'll go with Sean then. Because they do need some receiver help. Because I think if Mazzoli can, they have a decent O-line, they have a great running game. They have the second best running game in the league. I think they're averaging more than 125 in the year. So if they can get the running game going and just give Mazzoli a little bit more time, and I don't know about Condell. I'm not totally buying into Condell, but if you get a big receiver, too bad it's not Nick Dempsey for the passport, but it's gonna go for Sean.
Yeah,
he's the best one on the market, and y'all have the money.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of teams checking in on Sean and seeing what it's going to cost. For sure, you got to look into it. I mean, the Bombers obviously know what it's going to cost, probably at this point already.
Yeah.
So a lot of these teams are going to look into it for sure. And hey, if you can get him, I mean, the guy has set the league on fire for 2 years in a row. And it so far no NFL workouts for him and no mention of NFL workouts. Probably didn't help that his season ended, injured kind of thing for that route. So
I don't think he's going to get no smells. He's gotten his sniffs 3-4 times already.
Exactly. The guy at this point probably has just got to embrace the CFL. He can make some pretty good money as a top end wide receiver. You're probably getting 200 to 300, maybe more if you get lucky. But yeah, he can definitely make a good living in Canada here.
Man, hopefully in Winnipeg.
Yes.
Shoot,
I don't know how.
Montreal. I'm gonna go with Jamarcus Hardrick. If they can have him and Calendar on the bookends, I think that give Fajardo a little more time and he'd be a lot more efficient. So obviously, again, I don't want him to go, but I think if they can target someone to play opposite of Calendar, it'd be great.
Yeah, I went with guard for them. But I tried to find who is the best guard out there. Is Jeff Gray? Is that the best free agent guard out there? I don't know a lot about the other guys, so maybe someone can fill me in there. But I feel like they need to go with that guard position. And same thing, solidify that old line because they're bringing back pieces. If they can bring back Beverett as a linebacker, they're not missing a lot of guys from last year, right? So fix that old line, which actually played decently well in the Grey Cup. So
we played great.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think Jamarcus Hardrick would leave, but
no,
I'm talking about a talent like that on the right side.
Yeah,
I can't even find anyone comparable in the league.
Hardrick and Stanley to me are here unless they retire, kind of thing.
Totally, the bookends.
Yeah.
Who's a more dominant bookend, Walby and Gurrell or Hardrick and Stanley?
I'm not qualified to make that statement.
Then don't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it then. I was gonna pick one there, but I'm not gonna do it then.
I'm gonna say, well, Stanley and Hardrick have had a longer run of success. Yeah. Unfortunately, Gurrell and Walby came later on with the Bombers, but still just dominant. Both pairs had great careers.
Yes, for sure.
Nathan Rourke signed with the Pats.
Yes, that's awesome. Very good chance to play there a little bit, maybe.
Well, he'll get on the active roster.
Yeah, well, because he's got to be now active for 3 weeks, so that takes him to the end of the season. So
yeah,
hopefully he'll get an opportunity in a game.
I don't know.
I mean, why not at this point? But I guess New England's probably cleaning house, coaching staff wise. Anyways, Belichick's probably gone. But it would be still great, if Rourke can get a game in there and show that he can play somehow. Not somehow, but if he can just get a game somehow, show that he can play. Maybe he's got an option for next year, and someone will actually sign him to the active roster instead.
Yeah, Lalji thinks that he might get that last game against the Jets.
That'd be good. That'd be a tough D to go up against, but although they didn't look good yesterday, so
who knows what's happening in the NFL?
Hey, Aaron Rodgers is not going to come back.
No, he shouldn't. Just chill. Never mind. CFL fans, put your comments below in the comment section. Blah. Winnipeg Jets Talk. Let's move on to some Winnipeg Jets Talk, brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice, pavement, or the field with a custom airbrushed helmet or goalie mask. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions for any project. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431. Tell them Ray and Benny sent you. Fun fact. We had another question online. If Connor Hellebuyck wasn't available, which goalie are you taking in Jets history? Lots of Habby Boolins, lots of Essenzas. Who are you taking?
I grew up on Bob Essensa mainly. Like that was my main Jets fandom kind of thing. So I probably would take Bob Essensa. Habby Boolin was obviously fantastic in his few seasons here. WHA days, Jim Daly. I wasn't, I didn't watch enough of that, so I don't know, right? Or I didn't watch enough. I didn't watch any of that. I wasn't even born then. So I don't know, but he was obviously a very good goaltender as well. But a lot of good options out there. Pokey and the Bandit. And I mean, I don't think I'm taking.
You just shouted out my shot, man. Why don't you name out the rest? Why don't you just name the rest of the goalies and I'll just sit here and listen. Rick Tabaracci got a couple shout outs from Prison Mike and from a couple others. So Tabaracci, by the way, his last game was for the Atlanta Thrashers in 2001. So he kind of finished off a Jet any which way.
He had a good run there in that playoff series against Vancouver, and then it all fell apart from game 5, 6, and 7. Jeez.
It's so Jets. It made sense.
Would you actually take Pokey or the Bandit as your main goalie, though?
Yeah, why not? For fun. Like, really, what's the separation in town? Give me a break. I might as well take Brian Hayward already.
Brian Hayward.
He had the most successful career out of all of them. Did he get the cup in Montreal? Was he there for that one?
Yeah, I can't say.
Or was he in San Jose already?
Like in '93, I feel like maybe he was in San Jose.
Dang, he got a couple.
Was he there in the '80s though when they won? They won in '89, right? He was Winnipeg at that time?
No, he wasn't with Winnipeg at that time. He actually might have.
Man, the Jets had a lot of goalies, but a lot of bad goalies too.
Steve Penny, put him in there. Let's review the Colorado game. Wasn't that a crazy game? Especially for those couple pieces that came over in that PLD trade. Velarde put up 2 goals. Alex Iafalo came up with his first goal as a Jet, a beautiful backhand.
No, first goal in 18 games. He's gotten goals before.
As a Jet?
Yep.
Oh,
he just hasn't scored in 18.
It felt that long. Helly, no doubt, has found his form. The team is playing clampdown defense. Great 5-on-5 hockey. What are your thoughts on the Colorado game?
Yeah, it's funny because we talked earlier in the season how many goals the Jets were giving up, right? 3+ goals a game here and there, and they've shut that down and haven't given up a lot. I think since Vegas, where they gave up 5, they've kind of shut it down since then. And Helly's been fantastic, and obviously Brossois, when he's played, he's been good as well. Colorado, no Kale Makar, so that definitely affected them on the back end. But yeah, the Jets got it done from a lot of new guys, right? Velarde with 2, Iafalo with a goal and an assist, Nemestikov with a goal, power play goal, which was the Jets' first in 16 attempts or whatever it is. And then other guys pitched in with a couple points. Ehlers, Scheifele, Morrissey as well, and Nemestikov even ended up with 2. So the new guys, I do believe Nino Niederreiter also scored a goal. So
Yep.
that was a lot of the new guys and the LA guys and the guys that got at the deadline last year. So good win. I don't want to say dominating, but a very impressive win by the Jets. They kept Colorado. What are you saying?
Not dominating?
I should say dominating.
Not what they beat them by was the score
6-2. Yes, it was okay. So it was
battle for first in the Central. Damn, they
it was dominating.
Yeah.
Impressive to me though is that the Jets, they were up 3-0. I mean, they controlled the game, but then Colorado scored early in the third to make it 3-1. And we've seen the Jets in the past where they've crumbled at that point and kind of let the teams back in the game. But the Jets scored, I think, less than a minute and a half later to take the 3-goal lead back and never looked back after that. Kept a lot of Colorado shots to the outside, nothing in front of the net. So another great game defensively. And offensively, I mean, they got a power play goal, but they were buzzing around the Colorado net and creating a lot of opportunities, which is good for the Jets forwards as well.
1 for 2 on the power play, 3 for 4 on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
Dang, special teams. What's going on in the Montreal game?
Currently, right now, the Jets are snake bit, of course, against Montreal. They are down 2-1, just had another power play, and were not able to capitalize. We did have a very weird second goal for Montreal, which looked like a hand pass where it didn't look like it touched anyone else and got passed across the crease, and Dvorak scored. But no one has showed me in a replay where it actually touched someone, so maybe it has at this point, but very questionable goal that was allowed on the ice and after replay.
And this thing about the Jets playing down to the level is just rearing its ugly head again. Like superior goaltending, superior depth, and they're still struggling against Montreal again. Player of the week last week.
Hold on, and Jake Allen in this game has played very well. The guy has not won since he beat Winnipeg in a shootout at the end of October. So it's amazing. And it's just crazy to me to think that, hey, he's playing so well right now. 20 shots, he's only let in a goal. It's just nuts. I don't get it.
Jeez. Also in the second, they had like 3 or 4 shots in a row that were quality shots on Jake Allen. I'm surprised.
Barron had a few wicked chances. Perfetti hit the post early in the first, I believe, or some point in the first. Yeah. So they've had the opportunities, and Allen's just stepped up.
Player of the week last week? I'm going to go for Connor Hellebuyck. 934 save percentage, 86 out of 92. Held off pressure against teams like Colorado and LA early in the games to keep the Jets in it. He's in Vezina form. Something we were hoping for, and he's there. So he gets my player of the week last week.
Yeah, the Jets need him to play that well to have a chance. I mean, obviously they're playing way better than they have, so don't necessarily need to rely on him so far this year as much. But I'm going to go off the board here and not pick a player. And only because I gave this guy the gears a lot in the offseason and even last season and all that stuff. I'm going to give it to Hellebuyck. Because I've been hard on him. And the guys that he brought in last week and in the guys that he brought in last season at the trade deadline, the guys that he brought in for PLD were all big forces last week in helping the Jets win. And like we just talked about against Colorado, right? Velarde, Iafallo were all on the board. Nino, Niederreiter, Nemestikov, all got on the scoreboard. And not that I like the PLD trade. I like that trade, and it seemed very good. The Nino, Niederreiter, Nemestikov trades, I was like, is that enough to really propel them in the playoffs? But hey, man, these guys have re-signed. They've looked great on the ice. They're some of the best Jets on the ice night in and night out. So I'm going to give it to Kevin Hellebuyck, who looks like he's done a pretty good job, and maybe he can make another move that'll help the Jets make a playoff run this year.
Wow. Giving praise to Hellebuyck.
Got to eat some crow on that one, because I gave this guy enough shit, and some of it rightfully so, and a lot of people give him shit over it and stuff like that, but I'm going to give him praise for stuff that's worked out for him.
Damn. When's Rick Bowness going to get player of the week?
Soon. I didn't like the Rick Bowness signing. But he kind of turned me over last year when they were playing so well. So credit to him as well to get this team to play this way.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, people were like, Scott Arniel should be the dude.
Yeah. Exactly.
Montreal tonight, as we mentioned, things aren't going very well. Then they got Detroit, then Boston, going a string of original 6 teams to finish off their 4-game homestand.
Yeah.
Let's do a preview for Detroit and Boston. What are your thoughts on these games coming up?
Yeah, there'll be 2 tough games. I mean, Boston's first in their division. Detroit's sitting 4th, I believe. Not great in their last 10, 4-5-1. Detroit is, but they can score. They're second in the league for goals for, but they also give up a lot. They're in the middle of the pack, 3.2 goals per game against. Power play is 13th and penalty kill is 21st. So there's options and opportunity there. On the back end, you got James Reimer, who's actually had a decent season, 9-11 save percentage, and then Billy Husso, who hasn't been as good, so hopefully he's in net. The Jets beat them 4-1 in their first meeting of the season. Again, Detroit's got guys that can score. It'll be a tough game. Jets beat them the first time and actually made that game look very easy in that win. So, hopefully on home ice, the Jets can do that again with Detroit, but it won't be an easy one, and I expect a high-scoring game, and I kind of expect maybe not high-scoring, but, not to be a 6-2 win or anything like that.
No.
And maybe Brossoit gets one of these starts as well.
I'm kind of surprised that Dylan Larkin might be in the lineup.
Wasn't he back already or no?
Suffered a pretty severe head injury, but I guess he'd passed these protocols. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, sure.
Has he played a game already or no?
No,
they play the Ducks tonight, so
he might actually be playing, but he'll probably be in the lineup against Winnipeg. Doesn't that seem kind of soon?
It seems very soon for what happened on the ice and how he went off the ice too. So
yeah. Perron is still out on suspension. Kane hasn't really been a factor since he's been brought on board.
I totally forgot Kane was there.
Well, exactly. 5-on-5, he's been invisible. So I think the Jets will take this one at home against Boston. And Boston is good. They're leading that Atlantic, same points as the dominating Rangers at 43. They played some OT lately, so maybe they might be a little bit weary, prime for the pickings. Hellebuyck will have to have a huge game for the Jets. And who knows, man, if they can play physical and really shut down that first and second line, because that's where the meat is of Boston. Third and fourth line, but if they can get by that first and second line, I think the Jets have the advantage in depth, and they have the advantage slightly in goaltending. Like, Swayman's playing really good, and not that the other guy's not playing good at all, but Swayman, I think, has 1 loss this year.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So it'll be a tough one. But I think that Bruins might be tired. They're playing teams like the Isles, the Rangers, the Sabres lately, and they're coming to the teeth of the schedule. So I'll take the Jets on this one.
Yeah, Swayman's at 9.33 and Allmark's at 9.15. So again, both those goaltenders playing very well. It helps Boston's penalty kill is number 1 in the league, so the Jets can have a tough time there. Pasternak's already at 41 points. But the thing is, Bruins play the Wild tomorrow and then don't play again till Friday. So I'm assuming they're going to be in Winnipeg for most of the week till then. Too bad it didn't go to -40 or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Jets always have a rough time with Boston. I can see Boston actually taking this one over the Jets in a very close game. But I do see the Jets beating Detroit, and I can see Boston taking this one.
People like to talk about the Met division, not that Boston's in the Met division, but I'm talking about the Central division. Like, the Met division only has 1 team under 500. So does the Central. The Central is scary. It's not a joke division, not like the Pacific. The Pacific sucks.
Oh, God.
I think other than the top 3, they're all under 500.
Let's take a quick look here. Why not, right?
Goodness gracious. We got games coming up, I guess, that we talked about before the break, as we go for break. Who's going to step up? Some predictions on that one. What's going to be tough? What are your thoughts on the games coming up? Excuse me. I've had too much beer.
Have you now? Yeah, the Pacific Division, 3 teams are over 500. The rest are under. Central, the Wild are just under 500, and the Blackhawks, everyone over. So, yeah. Pacific's always like that.
What are your thoughts on these games coming up?
Yes. Yeah, again, they'll be tough. I expect Hellebuyck, he's going to, and Brossoit, whoever's in net, have to step up and be good in these games, because both these teams can score, and they're tenacious. Detroit's got a lot of guys up and down the lineup, whereas Boston's more probably top heavy with Pasternak leading. I think he's almost 20 points ahead of Marchand or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So a little bit top heavy there, but Detroit's got that lineup that can score from anywhere. And if Larkin's back, the Brinkats kind of cooled off from that hot start. So yeah, I expect the goalies, whoever's playing in these games, to both step up and play well in that.
Yeah, I think the Jets will have a pretty good run here going into the New Year's. Like, I know they will have trouble. They will lose one of those back-to-backs
Yeah.
in against Minnesota. It's just a divisional game. I know they'll have trouble against the Blackhawks because they have trouble against Montreal. Um, Lightning, they'll have a tough time against, but they're good against the East. So I don't know. I see them going well into the new year. I don't see too much trouble for them going into the new year. Definitely over 500 hockey.
Yeah, I can see them. Like, I agree on the Wild one. They'll lose one of those. They always have a tough time, especially playing in Minnesota for some reason. Plus, it's New Year's Eve. It's weird because it goes, they're in Chicago, come back to Winnipeg, to Minnesota, and then back home to play the Lightning. What kind of schedule is that? Like, it's just
It's a
weird to
schedule of the
me.
small market team.
Like, it's just weird to me. I expect them to go 3-1 in this, beating the Blackhawks, Wild, and Lightning, and losing once to the Wild. I mean, obviously, a Tampa game could go either way, but they always seem to be in close games with Tampa Bay and play them hard. And plus, it's at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that'll be a good end to the year and a good beginning to the year after that.
I'm really looking for Lowry to pick up his game, to be a
Yeah.
physical presence in these games, especially with the divisional games with Chicago and Minnesota, all three in a row after these original six teams are done. I think they'll really be looking on that third line. I'm looking for Lowry to really pick up his game. Not that he's been silent or anything. He's always there. He's always a factor. But I think, yeah, when you come into the new year, I think Lowry will have a few of these big games against these teams.
Yeah, we kind of need that line to pick it up again, right? They were so well offensively. And, they're still playing well a defensive game against some of the top units on the other side, but maybe start pitching in some goals. We're all excited about Appleton getting some goals lately, but he's been cold in that department. And along with Cole Perfetti, again, he hit the post tonight. At least that line was on the ice for a goal against Colorado the other night. Maybe
Yeah.
thought that would give them a little bit of boost, but so far nothing going on tonight in the game against Montreal. So
When is Kupari coming back?
I don't know. I think he was out for a decent amount of time, so I'm not totally sure on that one. Him and Billy Hanel were skating together, I think, last week or the week before. So,
I really liked how Kupari and Barron were playing together. They had something going.
and
Oh, man.
one of the things about tonight is Gustafson and Barron and that fourth line has actually had some pretty decent shifts tonight and some good goal scoring opportunities. So,
Good.
be interesting decision there to make, I guess. If you can keep Gustafson in there with Kupari, I guess Axel Johnson Fialbi would be the odd man out. I'm thinking he's still in the lineup, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
He's
yeah,
playing right wing, I think. Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
A lot of talk about the Jets needing a 2C or right hand D. If the Jets can only make one of these deals, which one are you making? For what position are you looking to fill?
I would go with second line center if you can figure it out, or get some more depth there, because I'm just afraid of one of these guys. If Nemestikov goes down, who's currently playing second line center, you're kind of stuck there. And I don't necessarily like Nemestikov playing at a second line center role, even though he's shown flashes that he can do it. But yeah, if they can make a move, obviously it's probably going to cost you a first rounder, though that's the only problem. But if you can even sneak in like Elias Lindholm or a Sean Monahan kind of guy to fill in that role, even just to get some depth, that would be great for a playoff push.
Yes, I agree. Second line center would be great, but I think there's enough talent in the forwards that the Jets have that if there is an injury, there can be some shuffling to fill that 2C position. I think if they want to make a deep playoff run, they have to get that right hand D and solidify things in front of Hellebuyck. Not that they're not playing good D right now; they are feeling it right now.
Yeah.
But when you're playing teams like Vegas or Colorado or Dallas, I think that you just have to be strong defensively, and I'm not quite all bought in on their other than their top pairing, the bottom four pairing. So I think they really need a right-handed D to make a push late into the playoffs.
Yeah, for me, even a second line center, like a sneaky kind of move like they did with Stasny right before that run in 2017-18, right? You
Yeah.
even get something like that. But yeah, obviously both spots would be great. Both spots are needed. The one thing I like about the D is you got a lot of depth there. Yeah, it's not a lot of great depth necessarily. But if a guy goes down, you have other pieces that can fill in for these guys, right? At least on the bottom pair, right?
Good old Stanley, eh?
If Morsey gets hurt, you're screwed. But a lot of teams would be screwed if your number one D man goes out. So
What happened to that Stanley trade that was supposed to happen that everyone's going nuts about?
Yeah, I guess that Flyers stuff and all that stuff wasn't actually accurate. I don't know, but nothing happened, and there's no more news about it.
Just a big tease. Jets Nation going nutty. Jets fans, put your comments below in the comment section. Benny, do you have anything? Oh my goodness. Benny, Trans Canada had the IPA tonight. 6 point what? 6.8. Not bad. Not bad.
I got the Hazy Whaler by Torque Brewing. That's a 6%er. So
The Whalers really had a good logo and they had a great jersey. I really liked it. Before they folded, it was like a grayish kind of aqua green, or I really like the jerseys they had there.
Yeah, they are very good. I wouldn't mind getting even a t-shirt of them, that jersey or that logo. I mean,
what name would you put a name on the back?
Nah, probably no name. I don't have anyone from the Whalers that I would actually put on there. I just like the logo.
I might put Sean Burke on there.
Sean Burke. There you go. There's a
blast. He had a bit of comeback. He was great in New Jersey, and then he fizzled out for a bit. Then he played for the Whalers for a bit, and he had a little resurgence there.
Yeah. And he played for the Flyers too for a bit, did he?
Who did Andrew Ladd start off with?
Chicago. No, Carolina. Sorry.
Yes, but he never played for Hartford, right?
No, I don't think so. Anyways,
I thought he was. I thought he was connected to that Carolina franchise. Jets scored.
Yes, 2-2.
Oh, should we just wait? Should we just wait here and tell
us who scored?
Andrew Ladd.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Cole Perfetti.
There we go. Yeah, possible 2C of the future. Benny, do you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Check us out later. What are we doing at the interview? We're releasing it next week or something, or in the next week or so.
We got an interview with Javon Johnson coming up, the president and CEO of Swaggerville.
Yeah, don't forget, subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss it. Yeah, check that out. Have a good week.
Our interviews are fire. We always have a good time. And we have another interview coming up in the new year. And I'm not going to say who it is. You just have to follow. I'm just going to say it's a Blue Bomber, former Blue Bomber. With that size of a free agent list, they're all former Blue Bombers at this point.
Right now, everybody is.
In the famous words of Michael Owen, if you only give 90% in training, then you will only ever give 90% when it matters. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.